Hey everyone, I'm Mark Sievers and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited to tell you my new cookbook, French Omelettes, Your New House Meal, is finally here. Months and months of recipe testing and photography and editing and even a trip to Paris. It's here, it's ready for everybody to learn how to master my 30-second technique of the French omelette at home. So in another video, I showed you how to make a beautiful component out of the book to serve alongside your omelets, and that was the assiette du fromage. And now I'm going to show you how to make my Provençal vegetable Tian. So it sounds fancy, it's really simple, and it's one of the coziest, most satisfying, warm, soulful dishes I think every kitchen should have in their arsenal of recipes. So it uses everyday ingredients. Maybe you have a great garden still. It uses eggplants and zucchini and squash and tomatoes, or you go to the great farmer's market in your neighborhood or a farm stand. But it's really a simple dish, so let me show you how to really assemble it, because there really isn't no cooking involved. So as you can see, I have a beautiful tray here filled with vegetables. I have some vine-ripened tomatoes. I happen to have some yellow squash and some eggplant. And I've cut everything about 1/4 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch thick, as thin as I can get it with my knife. If you have a mandolin, you can also use that as well. In the recipe in French omelettes, I call for graffiti eggplant. They didn't have any at the market this morning, so I'm using just regular eggplant is fine. And then I have a 3-quart baking dish with straight sides. And I'm going to put about 3 tablespoons of olive oil into the bottom. And I have some thinly sliced garlic that I'm going to scatter in. Oh, this already smells delicious with just garlic and oil. And then I have some beautiful rosemary, nice, beautiful, fragrant rosemary, and about 5-ish sprigs of thyme. This is all going to bake together in the oven with these vegetables. And the juices from the vegetables are going to get into the olive oil and make for a really aromatic, flavorful dish. So, I mean, I could probably just dip bread in that, have a glass of wine, and be settled for dinner. But we're going to take this a few steps further to make this gorgeous Tian. So the idea is that I want to overlap these vegetables in a concentric circle. So I'm going to start in my dish. You can use any really shaped dish. So you can use a square or round, but this one happens to be oval. So the first few are a little tricky getting started because you have to have kind of a foundation or a little base to lean everything against one another. And I've taken some of the eggplant, and if it's a little big, I've just broken it in half with my fingers. So you can just rip it apart just like that. No knife, don't worry. Nobody is going to know that you did not use a knife for that. And then I'm just going to make these beautiful stacking concentric circles of gorgeous eggplant, yellow squash, and tomatoes. You can use zucchini and yellow squash. You could use all zucchini. It really doesn't matter. Whatever is fresh and looks the best at the grocery store, farmer's market, or in your garden. So as you can see, now it stands up by itself. So that's fantastic. And I'm stacking these pretty tight. I'm packing these pretty tightly together because when this bakes, everything's going to shrink a little bit. And typically shrinkage is not a good thing. But in this case, shrinkage is fine. So this is all about making sure that the vegetables are tightly packed and all of those juices are going to all kind of meld together. So here we go. We're just going to keep on stacking this together, making sure that, so that one has 2 of the squash back to back. Totally fine. Nobody is going to tell. So as you can see, I'm rounding around the corner here, and I'm just trying to keep things as tight as possible and as even as possible. Some of the eggplant are going to be a little bit taller than the squash or the tomatoes, and that's entirely okay. You just want to make sure that you're just getting nice, even amounts and that they're sliced as evenly in thickness as you can get them. That's really the most important part. Oh, this looks so delicious. You can already smell the vegetables. It just smells so fresh and fragrant. And that's what I love about this dish. It's great, you know, Ryan and I love to have people over in the wintertime for game night because it gets so cold in Chicago. And this is one of those recipes, if you can even call it a recipe, that just always satisfies everybody and makes everybody kind of smile. So the first layer is done. Everything's packed pretty tight. And now I'm going to fill in this gap in the center. And obviously I can't make another circle. So I'm just going to go straight down in a nice even line. And I can hear my oven preheating to 400 degrees. And that's basically, this is one of those recipes where you just put it in the oven and walk away, and in a little over an hour you have the most gorgeous Provençal vegetable Tian with flavored olive oil you've probably ever had. At least this took me a while to get the herbs right, to make sure everything was coming through, and the garlic and just all of those beautiful flavors. So I'm not being too exact or worrying about this, but you want to make sure, like I said, that everything's nicely packed. So if you have some spaces, you can tuck in an extra squash or an extra tomato. Just make sure that everything is nice and compact. All right, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to take the rest of the garlic. All of these measurements are at marcsievers.com. So you don't have to worry about writing anything down. I've got you covered. I'll link the recipe right up at the top at the end of the video. And I'm just going to stick in some garlic cloves in between some of the vegetables. So perfect. And then I'm going to I'm going to put some more herbs on top. Another 2 or 3 sprigs of rosemary and some more thyme. So this is really just this beautiful rustic cooking that I love so much. And it smells incredible. And if it smells incredible now, wait until you take it out of your oven. It's even better. So I'm going to pour about 7 extra tablespoons on top of this. And I'm making sure to coat those herbs in olive oil too, because we don't want those to burn. But that's perfect. And some salt. Perfect. And then some pepper. And that's it. This can sit at room temperature for a half a day, and you can bake it off before company. But for now, I'm just going to put it onto a sheet pan and bake this for 70 to 80 minutes until the vegetables are velvetly tender and the whole house smells amazing. I can't wait. Oh, okay. Well, it has been 80 minutes. My Provençal vegetable Tian is finished. It is extremely hot, and it needs to cool for 5-ish minutes while we kind of pour some wine. But while it's cooling, I'm going to dot the top of it with some room temperature unsalted French butter. Maybe just 2 teaspoons total, not a lot. But what this does is this melts into the vegetables and then seeps down into the olive oil and makes it absolutely, completely luxurious, and even adds more flavor than is already in this. I just love this. Whoops. There we go. Oh, some butter. French butter. French butter, tons of olive oil, fresh herbs, gorgeous vegetables. Let's see if I can maybe just get a little bit of oil just to kind of taste it. Oh yeah. Oh, so good. Let's see. You can really taste all of the herbs and the garlic and the juices from the vegetables have all kind of melded together. That butter's starting to melt too. Oh, it's so good. In this case, talking with your mouth full is perfectly acceptable. Head over to marcsievers.com for this full written recipe and more information about my new cookbook, French Omelettes, Your New House Meal. I'm going to finish my bread, and while I do that, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and hit the little notification bell so you're reminded of new videos as soon as they post. Until next time, bye everybody. Well, clearly I can't stop. See, this is why I serve big baskets of bread with this, because it just doesn't get any better or cozier. Bye. Okay, one more, and then I'm done. Until it cools. Bye.